This story happened in a city in the Borneo region, involving a small family. A father named Doni, 45 years old, a mother named Nina, also 45, and their 17-year-old daughter, Maya. On Friday night, in September 2022, rain fell steadily over that city. The streets along Champaka Road were unusually quiet. No vehicles passed, and no pedestrians were seen. The cold weather forced residents to retreat early into their homes, choosing rest over lingering outside. At approximately 10:30 p.m., Maya suddenly woke from her sleep. A loud crashing sound from the next room startled her. At first, she thought it was just part of a dream, but moments later, another sound followed, heavy, unnatural, and accompanied by a human groan. Her heart pounded violently when she realized the sound came from her parents' room. Trying to remain calm, Maya slowly got out of bed. Her legs felt weak as she walked toward the living room. The house was dim, illuminated only by a small lamp. The silence felt heavy, broken only by the sound of rain outside. When she reached her mother's bedroom, Maya froze. On the floor lay her mother, Nina. She was motionless, her body surrounded by signs of a violent struggle. Maya wanted to scream, but fear locked her voice inside her chest. Tears flowed uncontrollably as her body trembled. Before she could react further, another loud sound echoed from her father's room. Maya turned her head and saw a terrifying sight. A man stood inside the room. He was not wearing any clothes. His movements were frantic and aggressive. Her father, Doni, lay helpless on the floor as the attacker continued his assault. Unable to contain herself, Maya screamed, but the rain outside drowned her voice. No one came. The man suddenly stopped and looked toward her. Realizing she'd been seen, Maya ran. She rushed through the back door and into the rain-soaked night. Her breath was uneven as she ran without direction. Behind her, the sound of footsteps followed closely. In her panic, Maya slipped through a hole in a concrete fence and fell into bushes and tall grass. Sharp branches scratched her skin, but fear pushed her forward. She continued running, screaming for help, but no response came. She knocked on several doors along the road. No one answered. Finally, she reached the house of a man named Soni. With all the strength she had left, Maya pounded on the door repeatedly. After a moment, the door opened. Soni was shocked to see a teenage girl standing before him, soaked from the rain, shaking and unable to speak clearly. Through sobs and broken sentences, Maya told him what had happened to her parents. Soni immediately called the neighborhood head and several residents. Together, they rushed to Maya's house. Inside, they found Doni still alive, though barely conscious. He was taken to the hospital, but passed away shortly afterward. In another room, Nina showed no signs of life. That night, a married couple lost their lives under tragic circumstances. Police arrived at the scene later that night. The rain continued to fall as officers examined the house. Furniture was overturned and personal belongings were scattered across the floor. The atmosphere was tense and unsettling. The case was handled by Criminal Investigation Chief Tony. He questioned witnesses, including Maya, who was still in deep shock. The only detail she could clearly recall was that the attacker was not wearing any clothes. Autopsy results later revealed that both victims suffered multiple severe injuries. Investigators concluded that Nina died first, followed by Doni. Days passed, but the investigation showed little progress. Several people were questioned, yet no strong evidence led to an immediate arrest. The police had searched the victim's house 3 times. The weapon used had still not been found. The bushes around the crime scene were thoroughly searched, as were the drainage ditches. However, the results remained empty. The heavy rain that poured down that night had perfectly erased the perpetrator's tracks. What happened that night was considered disturbingly well planned, despite its extreme cruelty. There were no signs of forced entry. No fingerprints were found, nor were there any footprints around the house. From the crime scene investigation, officers were able to secure a very limited number of pieces of evidence. In the mind of Chief Roney, there were 3 possible escape routes. The first possibility was that the perpetrator fled by following Maya's escape path. This route ended on Conchana Street, precisely at a dead-end alley in front of a guest house. But was it possible for the perpetrator to run openly through the streets while unclothed? The second option was an escape through the wall on the left side of a hospital that was still under construction. This route, filled with bushes and swampy terrain, could lead to Chempaka Street and Dipanagore Street. This option could have been the perfect escape route. The final possibility was that the perpetrator fled openly through Cambodia Alley, which also led towards Chempaka Street and Dipanagore Street. However, CCTV footage from around the victim's house showed no one passing near the location during that horrifying night. Suspicion eventually turned towards Bendo, 27 years old, a man known to be close to the victims. After the incident, Bendo isolated himself in his home on Strawberry Road. He rarely went outside and appeared restless. Although he had previously been questioned and released, his behavior raised further suspicion. What no one knew at the time was that Bendo had been near the crime scene that night. He had seen Maya running in fear, but chose to remain silent. On the 15th day after the incident, the police returned to Bendo's house. When officers attempted to question him again, Bendo tried to flee but was quickly stopped. Under pressure, Bendo confessed. He led police to the location where he had discarded the weapon used in the attack. According to investigators, Bendo acted out of deep emotional turmoil. Feelings of resentment, humiliation, and alcohol consumption clouded his judgment. He was wrong. The case went to trial. In court, Bendo expressed regret for his actions. Prosecutors demanded the maximum punishment. However, the judge sentenced him to life imprisonment. The house where the incident occurred was later demolished by the victim's family. Maya survived the tragedy, but the events of that rainy night left a permanent mark on her life. Even now, when rain falls and the city grows quiet, the memory of that night lingers.